Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Imtiaz Hassan from Jamia Millia Islamia, Central University. Today we are going to talk on a module DNA drug interactions and the exchange spectra under the paper techniques used in the molecular biophysics part 2. After this lecture, students should understand significance of DNA drug interactions. Then we talks about what are the commonly studied DNA binding drugs, and then we discuss about the thermodynamics of DNA drug interactions, and at last we talk about the techniques used to study DNA drug interactions. Here we discuss the structure of the DNA. You can see here that the DNA is double helical in nature, and it has the ribose sugar which attaches the nitrogenous base, and these nitrogenous bases are forming hydrogen bonded, and that's what it maintains the two strands of the DNA together, and these two strands are complementary to each other as well as anti-parallel. So these are the two models. Here you can see in the ribbon diagram model and in the space filling model, the helix formation leads to the creation of two types of the grooves. One is known as major groove and the minor groove. DNA is double stranded in shape like a ladder, with one sides of the ladder made out of the repeating phosphate and deoxyribose sugar molecule covalently bound together. The nitrogen bases match up according to the Charagaff rule, in which thymine always bonds to the thymine and guanine is always bound to cytosine through hydrogen bonds. So first we discuss about the DNA drug interactions. You know that nucleic acid, DNA or RNA plays vital role in genetic information, storage, replication, transcription and translation, directing protein synthesis. The study of interaction of drug with DNA is very exciting and significant, not only to understand the mechanism of interaction but also to the design of new drugs, because many of the anti-cancer drugs are actually DNA binding drugs. So the targeting nucleic acid can selectively interrupt the gene expression for treating various diseases including cancer at genetic level. Nucleic acid are the molecular targets for many chemotherapeutic anti-cancer drugs, and many drugs have been recently synthesized to fight against varying type of cancer, are preferentially interact to DNA and subsequently inhibit the replication and transcription steps. Here we talks about the DNA drug interactions. Many cancer drugs interact to DNA. They can inhibit replication and therefore cell division. There are several methods. Several drugs inhibits the action of topoisomerase during the replication. The effect causes strand breakage that lead to the cell death. Other drugs leads to cross-linking or other lesions that causes DNA to be unfit for replication. Thus, cells can undergo replication, particularly the cancer cell will die at high rate. Here the different types of interactions of the drug is shown, like the groove binding and intercalating agents. Here we discuss about the driving forces involved in the drug DNA interaction, and the affinity is controlled by non-directional interaction. However, the specificity is controlled by the directional interactions. These interactions are van der Waals interactions, covalent bonding, hydrogen bonding, electrostatic interactions. The following properties are of great importance to analyze the ligand DNA interaction. That's the degree of freedom, role of base pair sequence, counter ion effects, and role of solvent ligand receptor binding. Here we discuss the simply induced mutations. The radiation, for example X-ray and UV ionizing radiation, breaks the covalent bond including those in DNA and is the leading cause of chromosomal mutations. Ionizing radiation has a cumulative effect and kills the cells at high doses, and it's form the thymine dimer generally. Here we discuss the commonly studied DNA binding drugs and the steps where these drugs acts. For example, mercaptopurine and 6-thioguanine inhibits the purine ring biosynthesis and inhibits the DNA synthesis. Similarly, hydroxyurea also inhibits the ribonucleotide reductase, and the 5-fluorouracil inhibits the thymine synthesis. Some drugs like the gentamicin, cytarabine, flubrabine inhibits the DNA synthesis. Similarly, alimata or methotrexate inhibits the dihydrofolate reductase and reduction and blocks the thymidate and the purine biosynthesis. So these are the some steps where the commonly DNA binding drugs acts. Even at the post transcription level, some drugs are acts and interfere with the protein synthesis as well as the protein conformation. You can see here some groove binders like the nitrophene that binds to the minor groove of the DNA, then some other groove binder which you can see here, the bleomycin A2, that how these binds to the groove. You can see here the structure of some major groove binders such as nitropsin, distamycin, brancyl, Holest 33256 and distamycin A. This groove provides access for the binding of regulatory proteins to their specific recognition sequences along with the DNA chain. Certain anti-cancer drugs such as actinomycin D exerts their cytotoxic effect by intercalating into the narrow groove of the DNA double helix, thus interfering with the DNA and RNA synthesis. So now we discuss about the groove binders. A major category of the DNA binding drugs are the groove binder. A large number of heterocyclic or aromatic hydrocarbon rings such as pyrrole, furan and benzene are preferentially bind to the minor groove of the DNA. Such molecule possesses rotational freedom, which allows to optimal fitting into the minor groove. Most commonly, van der Waal and hydrogen bonded interactions are observed between such kind of drugs to the DNA. The shape of drug which bind to the minor groove are generally narrowed curved and that isohelically fitted to the minor groove of the DNA. And such shape complementarily facilitate the binding by offering relatively large number of van der Waal interactions and hydrogen bonded interaction to the bases. You can see here in the structure the site of attachment of the drug to the DNA are maximum. That's what it allowing the maximum number of interaction possible and thus efficient and specific binding of the drug to the DNA molecule. Now we discuss about the intercalator. Intercalator are the agents which actually intercalates the DNA and causes unwinding and prevents replication and transcription process by interfering with the topoisomerase function. A tight ternary complex formed by intercalating drugs, the DNA and the topoisomerase are highly toxic to the dividing cell. Such drugs contains planar aromatic or heterocyclic ring system and preference is often shown for the minor and major groove. Intercalation prevents replication, transcription and inhibits the topoisomerase 2 function. Here you can see the structure of some of the intercalating agent widely used for the intercalation of the DNA and as a drug molecule to fight with the different associated diseases such as cancers. Here we talks about some intercalators that intercalates the DNA. You can see here in the structure how the intercalating agents bind to the DNA and then intercalating agents produces mutation by sandwiching themselves or intercalating between the adjacent bases in the DNA. They distort the three-dimensional structure of the helix and causing single nucleotide insertion and deletion in replication. These insertion and deletion frequently produces frame shift mutation. and so the mutagenic effect of the intercalating agents are often severe. Because of intercalating agents generate both additions and deletions, they can reverse the effect of their own mutations. The examples of intercalators are proflavin, acridine dye such as acridine orange, ethidium bromide, and dioxin. Intercalating agents such as ethidium bromide insert between the bases of DNA and causing frame shift mutation during the replication, and thus they blocks the transcription and the replication process. The intercalator actinomycin, you can see here the structure of actinomycin. It is a well-known DNA intercalating drug which is known for blocking the chain elongation and thus inhibit the DNA and RNA synthesis. The other intercalators are anthracycline is an anti-tumor antibiotics, namely doxorubicin and daunorubicin form an ionic interaction with the negatively charged phosphate backbone of the DNA and strongly hold the planar aromatic ring into double helix and thus implicated against leukemia and the other solid tumors. Here you can see that how the proflavins binds to the DNA. You can see here that the positive charge of the proflavin attack to the negative charge of the phosphate bond and thus they bind to the DNA through the van der Waal interaction as well as the ionic interactions. The other example are the quinine and chloroquine. Now you can see that the DNA alkylating agents are strongly electrophilic compounds which are easily attacked by the nucleophilic group of the DNA. The most commonly used alkylating agent is sulfur mustard, which is highly toxic and used in cancer therapy. The mustard form of electrophilic aziridinium ion, which is readily attacked by the nucleophilic DNA bases, which leads to the covalent coupling to the DNA. Another bifunctional anti-cancer drugs are the bisulfan, which is primarily used as a alkylating agents. Here we discuss some DNA alkylating agents like the DNA targeted mustard. The example are the oligopyrrole and oligoimidazole carriers, bis benzimidazole carrier, polybenzamidine carrier, and 9-enolinoacridine carboxamide carriers. The guanine specific alkylating agents are mitomycins, carmethiazole, pyrrole benzopipridines, and the adenine specific alkylating agents are the ducomycin analog, benzene nidazolone inhibitor, analog of the KW2189, amino acid analogs, and bisalicine and other bis analogs. The structure and the mode of some alkylating agents are shown here. For example, the orthoquinone, chlorombucil, methachlorothiamine, cisplatin, carbothalline, sulfur mustard, nitrogen mustard, and methochlorothiamine. The DNA alkylating agents contain hydrophilic groups that form covalent bond to the nucleophilic group of the DNA, for example 7 nitrogen of the guanine. It prevents replication and transcription and used as anti-tumor agents, lesser with although it have the toxic side effects such as the alkylation of protein as well. So you can see here the inter-strand cross-linking and inter-strand cross-linking by the DNA alkylating agents. You can see here the structure of cisplatin and the mitomycin. The cisplatin bind to DNA in a region rich in the guanine units, inter-strand links rather than inter-strand. It inhibits the transcription, while the mitomycin C converted to alkylating agents in the body. Now we talks about the DNA cleavage agents, in which the most common example are the bleomycin, It is a classical DNA cleavage glycopeptide, antibiotic, and anti-cancer drugs which effectively bind to the guanine bases of the DNA, more specifically at the GT and GC rich sequences. Another important DNA cleavage agent is inidine, which is an anti-cancer antibiotics and possesses a characteristic macrocyclic ring with at least one double bond and two triple bond, which causes the oxygen dependent cleavage of phosphate bond of the DNA. Inidine interacts to the minor groove of the DNA and radicals production is triggered by the NADPH, which cleaves the DNA chain. Another important DNA cleavage agent is the dyneomycin A, which possesses structural features of both anthracycline and inidine and binds effectively to the DNA by intercalating as well as minor groove binding. Dyneomycin A is also activated by thiol, light or NADPH and thus resulting in the DNA cleavage. Here I will show the structure of some commonly used DNA cleavage agent. You can see here the structure of bleomycin and the neocarcinostatin, then dyneomycin A, and this is the lower side. You can see the mechanism of activation of non-carcinostatin by thiols. These DNA cleavage agents generates DNA diradical, and DNA diradical reacts with the oxygen resulting in chain cutting. Bleomycin also inhibits repair enzymes. Now we discuss about the bleomycin. It is a natural glycopeptidic antibiotics produced by Streptomyces verticalis. It is used for the chemotherapy, especially during the radiotherapy to kills the tumors, and commonly administered as a blenomycin, a drug that induces both bleomycin A2 and B2. It medicates DNA stranded scission of single and double stranded breaks depending on the metal ion and oxygen. You can see here the structure of bleomycin, which having the different structural gradient and involved for the different kind of properties. Here we provide a table that describes the drug action and mode of binding of some DNA binding drugs. You can see here that the drugs such as Holes 3258 is an anti-tumor agent, and the nitrosporin, pentamidine, badanyl, guanyl, bisfuramidine, nitrosporin, distamine, SN7167 and SN6999 all are the minor groove binder. However, the nogulamycin and menogrel are having anti-tumor properties are the DNA intercalating agent. Again, the mitramycin, pilamycin and chromomycin A3 are the minor group binders, and cisplatin are the covalent cross-linking agent. Now we discuss about the thermodynamics of DNA drug interaction. A complete thermodynamic profile such as Gibbs free energy of the complexation delta G, change in enthalpy delta H, change in entropy delta S, and the heat capacity delta Cp of drug DNA interaction can be obtained by using high sensitivity microcalorimetry techniques. The favorable enthalpy suggesting that the hydrogen bonding, van der Waals interactions and electrostatic interactions are the major driving force in such interaction. However, entropically driven process is predominated by the hydrophobic interactions. You can see here that the DNA in its native conformation, but when it's bind to the drug, it induces some conformational changes, and the degree of conformation changes can be quantitatively estimated by using spectrophotometry techniques and other techniques, which can be used to estimate the thermodynamics binding efficiency of the DNA and drug interactions. Here we discuss about the thermodynamics of DNA drug interaction. It is simply estimated in terms of delta G value, which depends on the several factors such as temperature, buffer, ionic strength, and counter ions. You can see here the delta G positive binding and the negative binding, and these are the value of the delta G given for the different types of drugs in a particular scale. Here we discuss about the techniques used for studying the DNA drug interaction. DNA drug interaction are studied by a large number of techniques, although I am not going in detail of each technique, but simply you can see that the fluorescence spectroscopy, UV visible spectroscopy, viscosity measurements, atomic force microscopy, fluorescence resonance energy transfer, nuclear magnetic resonance, DNA footprinting, CD spectroscopy, molecular docking, isothermal titration calorimetry, cyclic voltammetry, and Fourier transform IR spectroscopy. These techniques are used to estimate the affinity of drug, stoichiometry of drug binding to DNA. So the most commonly method is the UV visible absorption spectrometry. This is one of the simplest and most commonly used technique for studying the stability of DNA and their interaction with the drug molecules. Changes in the absorption properties of drug on the DNA is monitored between the 200 to 350 nanometer, and the binding can easily be monitored there. Absorption band of the ligand drug is clearly distinguished from in the visible region, and shifting of its position of the maximum absorbance lambda max value can be observed when the ligand bound to the DNA. And the degree of shifting of the values of lambda max can be interpreted as an indication of magnitude of interactions between the DNA and drug. Here we try to show that how the UV visible absorption spectroscopy is used to monitor the binding of DNA to the drug. You can see here the change in the spectral properties of the either DNA or drug upon binding is used to estimate the binding affinity of the drug molecule to the DNA, and it is plotted as a function of the change in the absorption value versus the concentration of ligands. The other method is the fluorescence emission spectroscopy, which is an efficient technique to study the interaction of DNA molecules with the drug with a very high sensitivity, selectivity, and large linear concentration ranges. Fluorescence resonance energy transfer and the fluorescence anisotropy methods are extensively utilized to calculate the closeness of the ligand to the DNA bases. Fluorescence quenching provide additional information on the binding affinity and stoichiometry of the drug to the DNA, and fluorescence method is ultimately highly sensitive, and binding of ligand causes a significant spectral shift or increment in the fluorescence intensity, which is used to estimate the binding pattern of the drug to the DNA molecule. You can see here the fluorescence emission spectroscopy is also used to estimate the binding affinity between the DNA and the drug. This technique having the two advantage, it is used to measure the binding affinity as well as the stoichiometry of the DNA drug interaction by simply fitting into the Stern-Volmer equation, where the binding of drug causes the decrease in the fluorescence intensity, which is plotted as a function of ligand concentration by using Stern-Volmer equation to estimate the exact binding affinity and the stoichiometry of drug DNA interactions. Another method is the cyclic voltammetry. Cyclic voltammetry is used to estimate the metallo interaction or the coordination of metal ion with the chelate to the DNA. A small molecule which has weak absorption band and overlap of electronic transition with the DNA are very difficult to study by absorption and fluorescence techniques. Binding of such molecules to DNA can potentially be studied by cyclic voltammetry techniques, for which equilibrium constant of the interaction can be estimated by monitoring the peak shift potential and the number of bases per site involved in the binding. Voltammetric methods are highly sensitive to chemical reaction, and hence kinetic data can be obtained by measuring the current and potential different measurement coupled to the electron transfer steps during the DNA intercalation by the drug molecules. This technique is mainly useful for the metal-based compounds due to the accessible redox states. You can see here the cyclic voltammetry is also used to estimate the DNA drug interaction, especially for the metal binding drugs. Metal containing drugs, it is simply based on the change in the voltage while binding of the drug to the DNA. So students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. DNA is a pharmacological target for many of the drugs that are currently in clinical uses or in advanced clinical trials. Targeting DNA to regulate cell functions by modulating gene expression or by interfering with the replication seems logical and appealing for conceptually straightforward. Many strategies have been developed to exploit to know the structure of the DNA that can specifically bind to certain drugs. The molecular basis of the designing drug binding to the DNA is improved with improved specificity and affinity and ability to identify the structure element of the drug that are responsible for the specificity of binding and for the stabilization of the drug DNA complex. A study of drug DNA interaction is a matter of great interest because drug molecules targeted for specific DNA sequences and are considered as a novel and potential therapeutic agent. Drug molecules interact to DNA by either covalent, such as alkylating agents, or non-covalent interactions. Furthermore, these drug bindings are often reinforced by hydrogen bonding, Coulombic forces, and van der Waals interactions. The non-covalent binding drugs interact to DNA through intercalation, group binding, and external binding, while the DNA drug interaction can be classified into categories of the intercalation, group binding, non-covalent binding, strand breaking, as well as variety of the combination. A large number of techniques including UV visible spectrophotometry, fluorescence spectroscopy, and cyclic voltammetry are used to study the DNA drug interaction in detail to estimate the binding affinity, stoichiometry, and other information of the binding affinity between the drug and ligands. Thank you very much.